what was the most, while I was making my goals and my resolutions for the new year, uh, I was thinking, what is really, really important? Is it the goals that are important? Is it the goals to be accomplished that's important? Are the milestones important? What is important? So when I was going through it, so one of the important aspect came was, uh, okay, goals are important. Everything is important. But what is important for me is the journey that I go from Jan 1st, 2025, right until 31st December 2025. And then I asked myself how the journey should be. And the answer that came was it should be light, peaceful, and happy. So that's where I thought, I could share something, because this is something which came from within. Otherwise, what happens is usually we have a journey, we have milestone, we accomplish things, but by the end of December 2025, we're completely fagged out, despite us achieving what we want to. And the good thing is, when we stay light and happy, irrespective actually whether we achieve or not, we still remain light, because our fundamental, our groundwork is done very well. Not that we won't achieve, but we can achieve much more if we stay light and happy. So, do you agree with me so far? Does it resonate with you? Yeah? Yep. Okay. So, let me, if I can ask you to go within yourself and let me know, when was the last time you felt light and happy? When was the last time that you personally felt, that you felt very light, and maybe for a few minutes or few moments or in another place? So if you could share that, I want you to go back to that same incident, same place where you really felt light. Would you be able to share that with me? Welcome, Mr. Richard.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. So during meditation, okay, okay, that's good. Any other place you felt light? Anytime? So what happens after the meditation? You feel heavy? So we are just discussing, Mr. Richard, about how important it is, apart from achieving the goals that we have, the accomplishments that we've set, whatever goals we've set for 2025. But what's more important is, during the journey, during the process of achieving those goals, are we being light and happy during the process? Because there would be ups and downs, there would be turbulences, but are we able to ensure that we remain light and happy towards the journey? Because if we are, then we're going to be achieving much more, not just in terms of goal, but uh, through our mindset, through our health, we're going to be achieving much more. So that's why we want to get the fundamentals right. We want to get the base right of being light and happy. Right? So anything that resonated you, any incident, any place, if you could share, you could chat, you could say what helped you, or when did you feel light? Anything? Yep. Nothing, nobody. Okay. We sometimes we visit places, we feel, that's light. We go for vacations, we feel, that's light. And but when we come back from vacation, we then feel much more heavier. When we go places to nature, when we go to the beach, when we go next to uh, water, or beaches, we feel a bit lighter. But what happens is when we come out of those places, then again, the same feeling that we are feeling so much of heaviness inside. So that's where our journey is. Like, we have, if we see throughout the year that is past, 2024, there have been just glimpses of lightness and happiness. Too many of them. I'm not talking about each one of you, but majority, what I've seen is there have just been glimpses of them having those aha moments of lightness, those aha moments of happiness. But throughout it, they're saying that it's been very tough. So we need to get this, or we need to nip it from the bud and see why this is happening and how we can eradicate this and maintain that lightness throughout. Because it's good not just for yourself, but for the people around you. Because people like to see people like to be surrounded with people who are light and happy, isn't it? So you could be the magnet and shine around in 2025 if you have this lightness and happiness around you. So that's what we're aiming for, get the base right. So what happens usually because of these moments of throughout of this heaviness that we are into, heaviness could be in the form of stress that we take either at work, in social media, at home, wherever. So that heaviness, what happens is we tend to carry it forward to 2025. And then it gets even more worse. So usually when I ask people, when did you feel light and happy? They actually go back to their childhood and they say, that was the time when I used to be light and happy. So I said, oh God, that's quite a long time. So it used to, surprise me. I said, oh God, so which means from the time you've been adult, or and some of them mid-aged, you've been living a life of heaviness and stressful. So, but we don't realize, and we keep living that life on and off. And on, we take it to 2025, 2026, because we don't put a full stop to it, because we don't stop, realize, think if there is another way, or understand why this is happening to us, why this heaviness is coming to us, from where is this heaviness coming. So that's the reason why we keep on going with this life. All right. So does it resonate so far with everyone? Some of them have joined new, so welcome. And we would not be able to repeat everything, but I hope we'll try to catch up a little bit from the past. So we are talking about this in the session, the journey from heaviness to lightness, heaviness that we've been having, we've been suffering, the stress that we've been suffering, and how we can be light, and not just light for ourselves, but even the light for others. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about. All right. And one of the key factors, I was telling you about the incident that, when I asked somebody, when did you feel light? They went back to their childhood thinking, oh, I was light at that time. So imagine the amount of stress that we've gone through. Sorry about that. One of the reasons when I looked into why it's happened, because as we are progressing in age, in terms of responsibilities, well, when we were a child and now, probably we have much more than before. But then why is it happening that as a child we were much lighter, we were much more happier, but as of now, where we've reached, some of us have reached mid-age or in our youthful, why is that that lightness is slowly fading away from us? Any guesses before I could tell you anything why this journey, if you've seen, is kind of burdening me? Have you, sat down, reflected? Why is this? Because everybody kinds of tells me, 5 years ago it was better. Society expectations. Yeah. They tell me 5 years it was better, or 2 years it was better, 10 years it was better, but not now. So why is that? Although we're progressing probably in terms of our jobs, in terms of finances, in terms of whatever, we are progressing. But on the other hand, we're feeling really burdened. And if we don't sort this out, trust me, whatever goals you have, immaterial, we we won't really enjoy. And whatever we earn, whatever accolades also we have, we really don't, doesn't make sense to us. Too much of responsibilities. Okay. Society's expectations, true. So much of expectations from the society. So there would be, like, whatever society's expectation was in 2024, in 2025, 2026, 2027, it's going to be much more. So how are you going to cope up with that? How are you still going to be light? How are you still going to be smiling? How are you still going to be happy? Responsibilities again, now whatever the responsibilities were in 2021, 22, 23, 24, in 2025, it's going to be much more. 2026, it's going to be much more. So how are you going to cope up with that? Are you ready for that? So whatever you've had now, whatever challenges you've had, think about it this way. The challenges in 2025, I'm not scaring you. Honestly, I'm not here to scare you, but I'm telling you, the challenges that you've had in 2023, 2022, 2024 are going to be much more in 2025 and 2026. So are you ready for that? Are you prepared for that? Are you light? Because that's what we say. That's the fundamental. Because if you stay light and happy, right, whatever it is, you're going to absorb it and you're going to move on. So that's where we are going to actually talk about. What has happened is, let me share something from you. What I've actually understood so far. Now, most of the times, whatever responsibilities or expectations that we have, let me link it with the answers, what we have, is basically with the identities that we have. So when we are a child, we don't have too many identities of our own self. But as we gradually grow, we have identities. We have identity of us being either a husband, a wife, a manager in a company, So all these identities usually come with a lot of expectations and come with a lot of responsibilities. So, and every time, I see Richard with a nice hat. So I say every identity has a hat. So we keep wearing, and these hats, when they keep piling on, we feel a bit burdened because that becomes our identity. And how do we feel with these identities? So it could be identity of a father, much more responsibility, identity of a husband, identity in this society, identity of at work, wherever it may be. And we keep adding those hats of responsibilities. And my true identity, somehow, in this process, from the time I've been born, while wearing this identity, I feel that this is who I am. This is the hat I wear. So if I am somebody in the office, this is what I feel I am. This is like usually the story begins, I am so and so. So this is what then the stress comes from, because I am this. I am a husband. I am a wife. I am a mother. I am a father. I am whatever it could be. So every time and unknowingly and unconsciously, whenever you have these hats, all right, you have a lot of expectations, you have a lot of responsibilities. And with all these expectations, with all these responsibilities, what happens is your lightness is taken off. You're actually burdening yourself. It's actually not more to do with the expectations of the society, but it's more to do with the expectations of my own self that I'm not able to cope up with. Because I feel I need to be this way with every hat that I have. All right. With every responsibility that I have, I feel I need to cope up and I need to be that way. I am this, so I have to do this. So that's where it takes a lot of stress. In terms of, you could have financial goals. So I have to provide probably this sustenance. I have to achieve the position of this by so and so. I have to cope up with my children, with my wife, with my, so the expectations of the children. So all these hats that I wear come with lots of responsibilities, a lot of expectations. And then it takes away the lightness. So what do we do here? How do we manage with this? So every hat, every identity that I have, all right, now those identities again are going to be there in 2025, right? That's not going to change. And I'm not here to change that. Take it off and be light now. While being this, okay, I am a father, I am a husband, I am a mother, right? That's just my hat. That's not me. Because what happens is we think that this is me. That's my whole identity. Or my identity is crushed if I don't do this. So I unnecessarily put a lot of expectation because that becomes my identity. And I don't want that identity. It's just a role that is being played. So you need to understand, first of all, that whatever identities you have, it's just a role that you're playing. For example, if if you've seen a movie, you know, they somebody is playing a role of a villain, somebody's playing a role of a hero, somebody's playing a role of a heroine or side actor. After after they have done the film, they or once they pack up, they don't remain in that role. Yeah? They just come out of that role and be in whatever positions they are in. So this is exactly what we need to do is these identify, okay, these are just my role, but they are not my responsibilities. We sometimes become too attached, right, to my identity, right? And when I'm attached to my identity, that is me. That's it, nothing else. So this is just a role that I'm playing. I need to take it very lightly because if I'm burdened, then I won't live up to the expectation. So if I'm a father, how do I feel? Right? Every moment, whichever role you're playing, just ask a simple question to yourself. How do I feel? Ask yourself, if I feel heavy, if I feel burdened, originally just understand that it's a role that you're playing and the role has to be played originally whatever role you are playing, originally you are a peaceful and a happy being. So when you enter that role of being a father, of being a manager, or whatever, enter into that role being a happy person, right? I understand that this is, I'm entering the role, but this is just the role. And that's all. No problem, Richard. And beyond that, I don't have much to kind of to because if I understand that this is my role, um, I know what I have to do. But when we merge ourselves with the identities, then we think this is what we are. So identifying and feeling with every identity, what is the feeling? Am I feeling good about it? And if I'm not feeling good about it, that means, what is the sign of that? That I've gone to engross into that role. That role has become my identity. The moment I'm stressed about that thing, that role has become my identity. And I don't want any of the roles to become my identity. My identity and my roles should be separate. That when it is separate, what happens is I'm happily playing that particular role. If that becomes my identity, then I'm not playing that role with a lot of excitement and happiness. Clear so far? Any questions here? Is it resonating? Okay. And then the next part is, whenever you are you are heavy, what are the other things that come along with it? Okay, no questions. What are the other things that come along with it when you are heavy? You are, the moment you get up, you get up with a heavy head. You go to sleep, you sleep with a heavy head. You go to work, you are at home, you are with a heavy head. What happens? What happens when we don't stay light? Anything? What happens when we don't stay light? Because we need to we need to understand ourselves first, because it's all about being a better version of our own selves. So what happens when we are not feeling light? What happens to us? What are the diseases? And I say this, and then eases come to us. Because you see, 90% of the diseases are psychosomatic. What can we do if we can't achieve something and get frustrated? How we can accept and move on? Okay, fine. We'll come to that. That what do we do when we are frustrated and we have whatever we achieve, and how we can move on? Yeah, very good question. Let's park this, and I'll come to that. So, what do we do? Or let's take this. So during the journey, all right, what happens is we're frustrated with something we don't achieve. All right, when we don't achieve whatever we have to, or as per the expectation, we don't feel happy, correct? So what happens then? Then we feel heavy. And what are the other things that follow when we feel unhappy? A, we feel angry about ourselves. B, we feel egoistic. Sometimes egoistic now that we can't do this, or somebody is much more higher, we're much more lower. So when we think low about ourselves, that's also egoistic. 3, what happens is we're not at peace. We're peaceless because we've not achieved. We're frustrated. It loses our peace. 4, what happens is when we are heavy, frustrated, what happens? When we don't achieve anything, we feel angry about it. Maybe sometimes we feel jealous. Yeah. And then also what happens is in the bargain, in the journey, we feel attached that this is what we should have done or we should have achieved. Am I right? So all these things, when we are not light, these are the diseases that come to us: anger, sadness, resentment, frustration, jealousy, attachment, ego, all of these things by default, without invitation, they come and sit inside us unknowingly, unconsciously. We're inviting them. And what are these? These are nothing but diseases that will cause us not just mental illness, but physical illness too. Because science recorded that most of the diseases are psychosomatic, 90% of them. So all of this actually germinates from here. So it is something that we need to be quite serious about. It is something that we have to be cautious about, not to allow all these frustrations and things to be coming in to our head. Because if we invite them for tea, they will have biscuits, they'll have lunch, they'll have dinner and ruin us and then go. Right? So do we understand? What we are trying to say is, at least first understand the symptoms, first understand the root cause, and then we'll come to the solution to it. So all of these things, when we get to it, so now when we are going into 2025, what is important is our journey. It is not important what we've achieved, what we don't achieve. Right, that is, we have a goal, but what is important is if we are staying light, if we're staying happy, no matter what, we've achieved already our goal. Because ultimately, okay, after achieving, what do we want to actually feel is happy. Yeah. So if we are achieving, also that happiness will be temporary basis. And then again, we have another milestone to achieve. But what is more important for us is during the entire process to be happy, irrespective whatever happens. So usually what happens is whenever we put a goal across, now let us answer Prasant for the question. So whenever we have a goal set, okay, if we can't achieve that, we become the identity. So as I said, there is an identity and there is a role. So for example, if I let me give you an example of what actually could resonate with me. That if I have a goal of probably 5 million, all right, dirhams or dollars in a month to achieve, all right, and I have the position to become and to lead this and have this goal achieved. What happens is, this is the responsibility, this is the role that I'm playing, but this is not my identity. This is not actually who's made me. This is not who I am. The biggest problem is we think that this is me. Whatever I have to achieve, that this is going to make me. So the difference between identity and role is not clear. I can achieve. Like, I set very high goals for myself, very high goals, right? But I understand the difference, that this is not me. This is just the role that I have to play. So the difference between the identity and the role is very clear, and I am not attached to it, right? I will work towards it, right? I will work towards it diligently, intelligently, smartly, right? But then this is not me. This is just the role I'm playing. So when I am doing that, when I'm separating myself, I'm not attaching it to my identity, I'm really happy. I'm saying, okay, fine, this is what is in my hand, is to do something. Because when I'm separating the two, I'm always light. When I'm merging the two, this is becoming my identity. Then what happens is I get frustrated. Oh, how could I not achieve? This is my identity. This is who I am. I'm supposed to achieve it. And that's where all the problems start. Actually, the society is not putting expectations. It is me that is putting expectations of myself with the identity that I have. And always that identity is so strong that makes me frustrated. So once I understand clearly the role, responsibility, and the identity, this is just the hat that I'm wearing in 2025. And I just need to wear this hat, enjoy it, be happy, be light, if it makes sense. And another thing, what happens is when you're light, the best part is when you're light, you are playing a role and you say, okay, I think I'm not enjoying this as much I should enjoy. So you have a, an option to actually go back and do something else or see what fits in you. But if that becomes your identity, you're so attached, you don't want to think of anything else. You're glued to that identity. You say, this is me, and come what may, heaven or earth, I will do it. Why? You're becoming stubborn. You don't give yourself an option B. The option B is not available. This is, the highway or my way. I need to do it. Good separation, yes. Let's read the comment. Role, identity, good separation, good way of thinking and way to look at it. But I have all the time remind myself with it. Can we help the person to look at it this way as well? Okay, very good question. I can we help the other person, you mean to say, to look at it this way? Yes, you can, with your own example. Sometimes when you set your own example, right, automatically, you don't have to teach somebody else. He gets it automatically. They say, you walk the talk. So if you walk the talk, then you will be able to. So it's so important when we separate these two things, the identity, the role, you're giving yourself space to breathe. So what if I don't achieve? So what? All right, let me think of another way, right? Let me think how I can improve on it. So there is always, and you give yourself some grace points. You be merciful towards your own self, actually. It's not about having mercy on others. It's the first thing is to have mercy on yourself. And most of the times, what we felt is we're not enough merciful on our own selves. We're too strict on our own selves. We're too stubborn on our own selves. Am I? Yeah. And this was me as well. Yeah, if I don't, I wouldn't feel good about it, because we wanted to do that, or we wanted to achieve it, or we wanted people to to be like us, listen to us. So all what we wanted is, we were so stubborn. Yeah. And the moment you take off that hat, okay, fine. I'm just gonna, this is my role I have to play. Let me see how, in the best interest of myself, others, I'm able to play that role with so much of lightness, with so much of happiness. How do I play? Now, I have a role to play as a father, right? Now, there are two ways of playing that role, right? I'm a father of three kids, and they're all grown up, all in their teens. One is working, one is 25 years old, one is 19, one is 16. So, all grown up. So, what my role is, and obviously, they are demanding, they have expectations. So, what my role is as a father, how I can actually just support them with whatever they have. It's not that if I start to think I'm a father, they should listen to me, they should come to me, they should. Uh, I put a lot of expectations and burden on my own self. So, I need to see how, as a father, I can enjoy this role with the kids that I have. That's all. I need to ask questions. And sometimes asking questions help you to actually get answers from the universe. Just ask, how can I enjoy with this role, whatever is there, whatever the role is, and the answers will come to you. Because what is important, what is of great importance is two factors all the time. What are the two factors that are important all the time is how I can be light and how I can be happy. So if these two factors are met, whatever role you are playing, ask yourself, if you're a teacher, how can I be, can I stay happy and light during 2025 as a teacher? Ask, and the universe will give to you. If I'm a father, I have to ask myself how I can stay light and happy as a father during my role in 2025. And identify, it's all about self learning and self development and becoming a better version. We all have identities that we have to play. Just ask yourself in 2025, am I playing this, staying with a lot of lightness, with a lot of smile, with that identity? And if not, why? Right? If I am too strict, if I'm not happy with that role of a father, what changes I can make within myself? So then what happens is the onus is on me. Usually, what happens is in this world, we have a very simple formula of blaming others. If things are not going right, the simplest thing to do is, right, blame others. As I said, I'm a father of three, and if something goes wrong, the easiest thing for me is my children are not listening to me. All right, and if you ask the children will say, my father is not reasonable. So it's always the other way around. I'm just giving you an example. So it's just that, we need to, in 2025, when we go into, take, take a note of all the identities that you have, right? Ask yourself and the universe, okay, to help you, because universe is there to only help and give. The only thing that we don't do is ask help, right? What we usually do is we put a statement, we put a condition. This is unfair. I don't like this. This is not happening my way. So we give statements to the universe. If we instead can ask questions to the universe, you will get answers to all the identities that you have, and you will succeed in whatever goals you set or whatever identities you have set for yourself. So, first step is to create, you know, as Samashi got it right, role and identity, right? It has to be separate, it has to be detached, right? You can't attach these two things and be on with this. You see, in most of the and the Hollywoods and Bollywoods, if you see that they think they're just playing the role of a hero or whatever character. But sometimes if they get attached to that and they think I'm the hero all the time, it doesn't happen, right? There are good days, then there are bad days. And during those bad days, if you still think, if you're still attached to that hat of a hero, then it becomes very difficult. So to separate yourself, to be humble, to be honest, right? And to look within that this is just the role that I'm playing and nothing else. It gives so much of lightness. Now that heaviness of that identity is removed, and I can play it with a much more lighter. When I can play it, like when you're traveling, if you're traveling with 100 kgs bag versus if you're carrying a 1 kg bag, you can go much more faster with a 1 kg. Just you can take it on your back and walk. Whereas if you have a 100 kg bag, then you have to check in, take it from the luggage, then put it back, da da da. So it takes time. So the same thing in 2025 when you're going to, make sure fundamentally, right? Fundamentally, what is important is stay light, stay happy with whatever you have. You are in the best possible situation that you are. Let's see how we can make it better. Let's not compare ourselves to others, because that's another thing. One is the blame game that we play. Usually, it's not me, it's him. The second thing is um, we like to compare ourselves and compare and say, oh, he's in a better position, she's in a better position, I should have been this should have come to me. Stop that. Let's take it off from our windows. And once we take that off from our windows, the focus is on ourselves, not on others. The moment the focus is on ourselves, because it's so much of light, fun, joy to actually work on yourself than on others. I don't work on my children at all. What I fundamentally believe is I need to work on myself. The children are what they are, but then I feel if I can work on myself, they will automatically get better. And it's so true. I just need to work on myself, and automatically things will be put right. Even in office, I just need to work on myself. I manage a business. I just need to make sure that I keep working on myself, and everything else around me, the business, everything will go fine. If I keep blaming and pinpointing on others, nothing will be right. Nothing will be set right. Same with the relationship between a husband and a wife. If you just go deep within and see what we can do better as husbands or as wives, the situation will be much better with a light head, with a bit of humor, with a bit of lightness, with a bit of smile, with a bit of happiness. It does come through. Yeah. So it's 10 minutes. Oh, any questions so far? So I've really said a lot. And anything from anyone so far? Any questions that's coming to your mind so I can tackle that and move on? Anything? No question is right, wrong, bad, good, whatever it could be. So if you have any questions, please ask them, then I can take it forward. You can chat, you can take off your mics and ask me, and then I can take it up. This was great and eye-opening. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sama. It has helped me too. Yeah, Sayed Ruxana, you have something?
Yeah,
Welcome.
yeah, Muazzam bhai. Greetings from Kashmir.
Greetings. Oh, I can feel
Nice to see you
the
again,
coolness.
to hear you again.
Thank you.
It's always
Same here.
soothing, sir.
Same here, same
Actually,
here.
these days, I really needed that dose, you're giving right now, because kids are home, they're having winter holidays, and it's on my head. And, it's like as if this
No.
whole program or this session is all for me. And every time, everything you said is so relevant to me this time. And I'm trying to, follow things and trying to, exactly relate things to myself. And
Great.
I really believe that it's really us that we need to change. We need to
True.
change ourselves. We
Very true.
cannot
Very true.
blame on our kids, on our surroundings, and
Correct.
all other things. Ultimately,
Very
it's
true.
ourselves that we need to work upon. So
Very true. Very true.
I
Very
second
true.
your
Yeah.
thought. I really second your thought. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for your,
Thank you so much for
so
agreeing. Otherwise, we would have to spend another hour just to help you agree. So thank you so
No,
much.
no, seriously, seriously.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you so
really
much.
something. Your words
Really.
are really so
And
lace to my heart.
your smile is so contagious. Trust me. If you can carry this forward in 2025 to any challenge, to any problems, to anything that you have, you know, because what happens is we usually have the habit of reacting. So to
Mm-hmm.
anything that we have. So let's take a pause and just smile that because you've got such a beautiful, lovely, contagious smile. So when you
Thank you
do
so
that,
much.
half of the problem, trust me, are
Yeah,
gone.
that's true. That's
Are
true.
gone,
We need to
and
relax, We
and
have
and
so many
inshallah.
things in our lives, so many stresses around, and so many things, our
Absolutely.
mind is full of. But
Yep.
we need to take time to relax and to be happy
Absolutely.
and to smile and make others happy. I think that
Uh
is the mantra
True, true.
of happy life.
Mantra of, yeah. So our actually goal for 2025 to the people that have joined here is
Hmm.
actually, they say if you chase money, you keep chasing money. But if you add value to something, then money follows you. All right.
Yeah.
So what happens is, in the same way, if we stay happy, all right, if we stay light, all things that you want to achieve will follow you. The moment we feel burdened, we feel frustrated, we feel angry, they kind of disappear what we want to achieve in our lives. So ask yourself every single day, and it's not actually this mantra is for throughout the year. Ask yourself when you get up, how am I feeling? Am I feeling light and happy? And ask the universe as well, how can I be light and happy? Trust me, the universe is there to help you. The universe is there to support you, right? Talk to it. And every time, every day, just a point percentage. Okay, if you get better, and that will do the job brilliantly for you, right? Understanding yourself. There's enough of in the internet, there is enough of knowledge, there is enough of information, lots of things are there. But what is the need of the hour is to work on your own self and to improvise on your own self every single day. It's not about the information outside, it's all about the filth, the dirt, which is there inside, that has to actually get out of my system. And slowly, slowly, things will get better. And the moment I feel light, I feel happy, imagine what am I going to do to myself in the surrounding. I take responsibility for that. So if something is not going right, the moment, rather than pointing fingers on others, my children, my workplace, the moment I take responsibility, 90% of the job is done. Then 10% is reflection. So a lot of reflection is needed to get to that where you are right now. But if we are not going to reflect within, there's actually, when we go to December 2025 as well. We haven't learned, we haven't moved, we're still in the same thing. It's not about achieving those goals, but staying happy and light should be our permanent goal, not for 2025, 2026, but till the time we are there, guys. This is the goal. This is the massive permanent goal that we need to hit every single day. Are we with this goal? Every single day, not just for 1 day or 2025. No, because this keeps increasing. And the beauty about it is it grows exponentially. The moment you feel light and happy, your surrounding automatically are benefited with this. So much of benefit that you do to yourself and others. Imagine. So I wish really, the time doesn't end, but it's just 2 minutes. And from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to thank you, because what happens is, in a way, whenever you come in for a session, it helps me to prepare and go a little bit deep within, because I don't get this information from the Google or something. It's all about going deep within. What can I say? What can I do? So you, in fact, are the stimulus for me to come up and give this session. So I really like to thank you all with you participating, with you coming in for the session. It helps me with your questions, it just helps me get better. So really, thank you so much. And anything that you have, if you would like to type or say what you have learned in one sentence or two, you're most welcome actually to just share that this is what I take back from this, and this is what I would practice, or whatever, if you would like to. If you can type, you can, or if you have any last questions from here, we would be signing off the session sharp at 5 o'clock. So anybody, anything that you would like to, you can always feel free to type. Hope to meet again soon. Yes, soon again in 2025. Have a mercy on yourself. Brilliant. Yes. That's so important here. And this was my learning also, to have mercy on your own self first, before we could have mercy on others. Yeah, it was a learning for me too. Natasha, thank you so much. And trust me, as much as you benefited, I benefited. And thanks to you all. And I'm in gratitude that you attend. And Inner Space organizes the sessions absolutely free of cost, with an altruistic mindset, just with the intention to benefit others. So stay in touch with them throughout 2025, and you'll be benefited so much. Thank you once again, and lots of love and regards to all of you. Stay happy, stay smiling all the time. Cheers, see you, bye.